Hello and welcome. This is Claudia Sky. And in this video today, I want to ask you a question. A question I've asked myself a lot over these last 4 or 5 years. And that is, who would you be without any programming? Who would you be without any conditioning of your mind into believing things that may or may not be so? Who would you be if you had never been in a church, in a school, had opened a screen to listen to some content online, but you had been surrounded by the natural world, directly observing life through your eyes and through your senses? Who would you be if you had not been programmed? I got a glimpse of who we would be when I traveled to Peru, and I met with people who were literally untouched by the Western world until the mid-80s. And I was fortunate enough to spend, and I went back several times, spend time with wisdom keepers of a lineage that supposedly was unbroken for 13,000 years. And the way these wisdom keepers, these Pacos, conducted themselves and the way I felt in their presence taught me more than anything. And it mainly taught me that I was full of stuff that wasn't serving me, and that was probably quite far off the truth. And that really changed me. It deeply impacted me, and I began to ask myself questions like the one I shared. Questions like, how do I live in my heart? How do I let my heart guide me? And how can I see through the deception of my mind and the illusions that it offers? And how do I live my true self authentically every day? I had been a mom at this point already for several years, and so seeing my son grow up in this world motivated me and inspired me to simply be my best. And in my work now, that's what I share. And so what I'm learning every day in my personal life and working with clients, I luckily can say that I learn every single day. And the reason I learn is because I never think I know the answer. I never think I understand it. But I keep staying in the question. Show me a way to be completely real and open and receptive to life and available to life so that I may bring forth something that is beautiful. So who would you be without any conditioning? If you have any beliefs in your life that say that you don't deserve to be all of it, happy, healthy, wealthy, and love, creative, traveling, then you simply have limiting beliefs that say that it is not a good idea to do that, because either you don't deserve it, or you are incapable of it, or some way you are just not a match for that experience. We could go more into the reasons of why we might be told certain things. That's not really my point here, even though that is an inquiry that is worth taking. But the truth is that for thousands of years, for many, many, many generations, we have been programmed away from being in our power and knowing our power and being in our truth and understanding who we actually are. And so that means then that we carry in our DNA, in what science so lovingly calls our junk DNA, we carry programs just by being born that say that we are not deserving of being fully embodied, happy human beings. It's an old story. And then on top of that, of course, we have our own personal story, our own victim story of what happened to us when we were younger. And they can be really juicy. They can be really good. It can be so logical of why we simply cannot do certain things or have certain things because of the past. And I want to really question that here. Because as soon as we give that the power, we give the power to a place outside of ourselves. And there's no change in that. The only way for us to create a change and an actual transformation is to stop being a victim and to take responsibility for how we show up every single day. And that is not easily done when we have never done this. Where do you start? How do you begin to see through the illusion of your story? The one that's inside of you and the one you've been told that now also is inside of you. How do you begin? I think it begins with the decision that this is worth your time and that it needs time in the day. It needs time in your day to day. You need to make time for this. This can mean you sit down for meditation, or that means you have a regular time where you meet with certain people that are on this path, or you have a regular time where you meet with a mentor or something that is a container for you to be on this deeper journey of who you are and why you're here. No external answer to those questions will ever satisfy you. You know that. Nobody, not the most well-meaning, well-educated, most awakened person can answer those questions for you. It will never cut to the chase. You will never be satiated by that. Only your own soul, your own relationship with yourself can give you that answer. And that is the hero's journey, is to walk that path from, oh my God, I clearly know nothing, to, well, then let me stay open to life revealing to me what's true. And staying in that question, staying in that question. To me personally, the work of inner alchemy, just noticing every single time I lose myself, as getting triggered, as thinking I know what's going on, as being in my mind, every single time I fall, I believe that I intend to catch myself. And so over the years, I'm catching myself more and more. And then I have something I can work with because I know I'm not that victim. I know I'm not that disempowered. That is a story that is sitting on top of me that was and is still to a certain degree, but less thwarting my life force and dimming my light. But we are all made in the likeness and image of God. And I'm not a religious person, but that is simply what we begin to see as we do this work of clearing out the cobwebs. We are. And with that, we're here for a reason. What is that reason for you? What is that reason for you? Are you living that reason? Nothing else will satiate that part of you that is hungry for something, some fulfillment. The answers always lie within, and it's this beautiful, humble, courageous work of getting real with oneself, no longer allowing the mind to judge and to project and defend and assume, but being so interested in just being present, just being present. That's when answers come to the question of who am I? And who am I without all this programming? The answers come from within. It's the revelation of your true being. And you begin to see how we all are that. We all are that being. We are all an expression of the divine. And we all have our own facets of everything human. And that makes us beautiful. That makes us unique. That gives us the individual contribution that we are here to make. And when I think of a world where we all do that, where we all understand who we are, and we know how to cultivate and harness this God-given power of being creative, but truly creative, not just through force, but through grace, through knowing how to use our innately creative energies of thought, imagination, and word, and feeling, and action, and the subconscious coming into alignment with the conscious desire. By the way, did you know that the word desire, means of God, of the Father? Not what I've been told in church. That was something sinful to follow your desire, but desire is a sacred yearning of your soul to be fully here expressing itself. What is your desire? following that desire and allowing your true self to emerge is what you're here for, I believe. And imagining a world where we do that more and more looks like a really beautiful world to me. At a time where we are so guided by the external to give our power away and to think that some machine can be more potent and capable than us. But without a soul, it lacks the connection to the divine and to the higher self. It's the soul that animates us and gives us life, and that is carrying the blueprint for beauty. Beauty for each and every one of us unfolding into life, creating more life. That is what it means, I believe, to be a steward on earth. Co-creating with the elements, the kingdoms, really understanding who we are and our role that we have, and living into that more and more. That's what is important to me as a mother. And this is what I will leave you with today. Thank you for listening.